This is Meerkat in for D7 with the Broad Market Weekend Review, good through Sunday, the 23rd of April, 2017. Des is attending the Young Entrepreneur Convention, where he was a guest speaker last year, and so he's asked me to step in here for the weekend review. So let's take a look here. What is happening? Let's take a look first of all at what's happened on the daily charts in all the broad markets and a couple of others, and let's take a look at what's happening in the weekly charts and then trump that with what's happening in the monthly charts as we get a clear technical picture, and at the end we'll wrap it up as to what may be happening psychologically in the markets. So let's take a look here. How about the S&P 500? Here's the S&P 500 index, SPX, and we are in a bull flag here, folks, and if we zoom in here over the last few days, over the last week, we did drop down last Friday, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We moved our way right up there. We on Thursday we did close above the 20 moving average, and then on Friday we closed just below it. We are in a slight downtrend in that bull flag, but let's take a look down here at the MACD. We are getting lower swing lows, but the MACD we're getting higher swing lows on the MACD. That's a divergence. That's a little more bullish, but we have other indicators that are saying we're a little more bearish. This market is just living in hope. Okay, that will be at the end of the tape. Anyway, here we go. Let's take a look at the Dow. Here's the Dow Jones Industrial Average. It ran up. It's also looking in a bull flag. It's in a down trend right now, and it also is zigzagging back and forth, up 100, down 100, up 100, down 100. The market just cannot decide what to do. Right now we are below the 50 moving average and the 20 moving average here on the Dow daily. And then we've got the Nasdaq. Look at that. I better pull that down a little bit here. It keeps hitting its head right up here, the all-time highs, and we're right back to that level again. It just doesn't want to break out. It's been doing that, since the 1st of March, all the way across there, after the big run up after the election. Small cap Russell here, it's been in a tight range since December. Look at that, all the way back since December, rolling sideways and moving on up there. And so we've got, because it's been sideways for so long, what happens to all the moving averages? They all move together. Well, look down here at the MACD. There's no divergence there. It's just in a tight range. Besides, the MACD does not work when you're in long periods of consolidation like we are in the small caps. How about bank? Well, the banks have had lots of earnings here in the last week, and they've been, most of them, except for Goldman Sachs, have been very positive, and it's running back up here now. Earnings is a very important time here, since we've had 7 earnings periods in a row where we have had lower earnings than the S&P 500. Most people don't realize that. They say, oh, we're exceeding expectations. Well, if expectations are lower than last year, then yeah, they're exceeding expectations, but they're not being more profitable overall. It will be a very interesting quarter here. And then let's take a look here at the VIX on the daily. Tough to see this. It did run up last week, and then on Monday, bam, it came back down. We're still around the 14 to 15 area here, which isn't quite as complacent as we've been down here in the 11 to 12 area, but we're clearly not up in the 20 area of high volatility. All right, let's take a look here now at the weekly charts, and this again, we're pulling back and taking a little bit broader view. It too is running up, and it's in a bit of a bull flag here. But if we even look closer, we are in a down leg technically. There's 1, 2 candles lower, so we're in a down leg. But what do we have here? You can go to the chart school and find out. That is a bullish harami, about ready to give birth to an up leg. It could be. It's a bullish harami. We'd need for confirmation there for this next week here for it to break out. That's a possible reversal candle. Let's take a look here at the Dow. It is also in a down leg, and it is also in a bit of a bullish harami. And then we've got the Nasdaq. Nasdaq is just high basing here at all-time highs. Now, it's not quite, very close, just a couple of fractions of a point below the all-time high for the weekly charts from back here on at the end of March. But no, it still has not cracked the top up there. And then we've got the small cap. Look at this, the Russell just kept coming down here, and look at it, down, up, down. It's like a barber pole almost, except for that one. Right now we're back up again on the weekly. indecision in the markets, folks. That's all we can say. So when the market's in indecision, what do? Well, the best position is to be in cash. But if you are in a position, either long or short, you manage your stops, and there are sectors that are booming, there are sectors that are dropping, and if you happen to be in the right area there. But you also almost want to look at the sector charts to see if there's a trend within a sector, and then choose a stock from there. Here's bank here on the weekly. It was low basing here. Finally, this week, again, banks are starting to improve, but they're running right up here on the short-term moving averages here, and we're not even up here to the 20 moving average yet. And then the VIX on the weekly here, you can see the run up from last week, and then it did pull back, but not all the way. During the week, it came down here and hit this 50 moving average, but then it pulled back up a bit. The fear came back into the markets. All right, now let's take a look here at the monthly charts. They kind of trump what goes on here on the lower time frames. Here we have the S&P 500 monthly chart, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and this did close slightly higher than the previous month. So at the end of March, we had 5 months up in a row of higher closes. Now this month, could be our first month with a lower close. You get 3 out of 4 months here, and this candle, so it's still active. It hasn't closed yet, but this next week will be very, very interesting, especially with all the earnings. How about on the Dow monthly? We did have a lower close last month on the Dow, and now it looks like we could have another lower close here. Again, we have 1 more week to go here. How about the Nasdaq on the monthly? It ran up here. Now it's just it was a higher close here. What, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 months in a row, higher highs, and we were right at that high of all time for the monthly chart with 1 more week to go. And then the small cap Russell here, yeah, it's just been going sideways here. 1, 2, 3, 4 months we've been going sideways. Yeah, hard to trade that unless you happen to be in a hot sector at one particular time. And then on the monthly chart, bank here, it really dropped last month, and it's still dropping this month. We have not fully recovered. It's come back a bit, but again, we have 1 more week. It could be interesting there. And that's another on the VIX on the monthly. We have come up for the month. Did pierce through both the 20 and the 50 moving average on the monthly chart, and now it's pulled back down again. We'll see if we'll stay down in this complacent range. Well, that's it on the overall charts. Let's go back here to the daily charts on the S&P just to talk psychology for a minute here. What happened here? Well, back here, and the big surprise back in November was, Trump got elected, and then everyone said, well, if he's going to do what he says he's going to do, everything ran up until about mid-December, right? Then they said, well, could he actually do what he said he was going to do? It went sideways. On Inauguration Day, things bounced back up again. He started to take action, but then things didn't go quite the way that they wanted, and healthcare didn't pass, but he's been doing a lot of other little things here. So everybody's just kind of waiting. Are things going to start to change? And of course, the markets are particularly looking for a change in the tax code, which would benefit business. That's what a lot of this run is all about, and the anticipation or hope that there will be reform that will benefit business. So right now, the market is living in hope, folks, which is a terrible place, I think, for a market to be in, because this entire run-up was not based on earnings, was not based on anything economic. It was all based on what might happen, and that's called living in hope. And I don't live in hope, folks. I live in Toledo, Ohio. So let's not live in hope here. But all we can do is adapt to what the market is doing. So if the broad psychology of the market is just wait and hold, that's what we have to adapt to. And again, it can be very frustrating as a swing trader or a longer-term position trader. You just have to, wait until the market breaks one way or the other, and that's when we want to make our moves, when the probabilities are in our favor. This is the Meerkat. Have a great trading week and trade well.